Okay, this is just a quick video to demonstrate how we can collect data using the Delsis EMG system. Before we go ahead and collect data, it's obviously important that we've got everything set up correctly. So in this instance, fortunately, it's fairly straightforward. We need to make sure the laptop and the EMG system are powered up, and the two are connected together using the USB cable. In addition to that, it's worth just making sure we've got enough sticky adhesives for the sensors. And also, just in case you've got a particularly hairy participant, it's worth just making sure you've got a razor blade and some alcohol swabs to effectively prepare and cleanse the site of application. So if we're happy that we've got all of those things in place, we can then head to the desktop and locate the software. So we're looking for the EMG Works acquisition software. And then select Data Acquisition. From this screen, we've got the option to create a new project. You'll notice that I've got one already set up, but if you did want to create a new one, it would be just a case of hitting New Project at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and enter my project. From here, we can create configurations. So I'm going to go and select New, and then we're going to go in and set up the test configuration. So generally just work our way down the left-hand side. The first option, people and test subject information, generally advise not to enter any information as we often label up the data accordingly when we export it. So we're going to head straight towards the hardware tab. We should have displayed to us the Trigno wireless system. If not, then it should just be a case of hitting the refresh button. Once we've got these colourful options available to us, we can then go down to the Sensors tab. If we then go across to Existing Sensors, this is fairly simple in terms of us having the ability to now drag and drop the sensors onto the desired muscles. And it's worth just pointing out that we can change this guy around, so we can have a look at the posterior view, we can zoom in and out and move him around. So to keep things simple for the purpose of this video, I'm going to allocate sensor 1 to the right bicep. And that's it. So obviously lots of options. We could use all 16 sensors if we really wanted to. I'm happy that I've got my sensor allocated, and I'm now going to move on to experiment workflow. Again, this is a drag and drop scenario. Lots of different options, unfortunately, the majority of which are beyond the scope of this video. So I'm going to quickly go through the most common procedure, and that would be to, first of all, conduct a maximal voluntary contraction. So you need to select the sensor for feedback. We can change the number of attempts. So to keep things fairly slick, I'm going to go for one attempt of 5 seconds. Following the MVC, we can then go ahead and pop in a plot and store. So this is a generic time frame whereby we can perform a sporting action or movement of our choice. It's worth labeling these up, particularly if we're performing multiple actions, as it kind of clarifies things when we get into the data analysis. So eventually I'm going to get on to performing some bicep curls, and I'm going to do a few within a 10-second period. So again, select the sensor, and we're all set up. Finally, if we drag down the Analyze option, once we've gone through our MVC and data collection, the Analyze option will automatically open up the analysis software and prompt us to add the data collection files that we've previously acquired. So I can now go ahead and start the test. And if I name this one up, ease of finding the data, I'm just going to pop it onto the desktop. And this tab just gives us a final reminder of our running order. So if there's something you weren't particularly happy with or you needed to change, then we do have the option to return to the test configuration. I'm happy with this, so I'm going to go ahead and run the task. So the first thing within our procedure is to perform the MVC. So in order to do this, if you haven't done so already, now's the time to apply the electrode. So you'll notice with the sensor tabs, so the sticky adhesives, they have 4 perfectly cut out holes in the back, and the idea is we line them up with the exposed electrodes on the back of the sensor. And then we just carefully peel off the backing paper. So a little bit of knowledge required here in terms of muscle origins, insertions, and the pennation angle of the muscle fibers. So the idea is we apply the sensor in the muscle belly and in line with the muscle fiber orientation. Once we're happy with the location, press the black button once, and we should have now either an illuminated green light or a flashing green light, which would indicate the sensor's ready for data collection. In terms of the procedure for this MBC, I'm going to perform a maximal isometric contraction. We're going to hold at around 90 degrees of elbow flexion using the opposite hand for resistance. When I go ahead and click start, I'm going to have a 3-second countdown window on the right hand side, followed by the 5-second data collection period. So here we go. Okay, so the software automatically detects the peak within that period, and that's then used as we go into the analysis for normalization procedures. So that peak is essentially determined as our 100% contraction. And once we go ahead and collect some data during the bicep curls, they will be expressed as a percentage of that contraction. So we're going to move on to the next task. Within this task, we're going to perform some bicep curls. The EMG data would be displayed at the top, and in addition to that, we'll have 3-dimensional accelerometry at the bottom. It's worth just pointing out at this point, when we press start, we won't have a 3-second countdown. It will start the data collection procedure straight away. Okay, so there we are. If, for example, we weren't particularly happy with the data we've got, we could hit start again and repeat the procedure. But I'm happy with this, so we're going to go next task. So this is moving us now towards the analysis option. So we need to choose a file to export to. Again, for ease of finding my files, I'm going to put it on the desktop. We're going to create a new workspace. And again, just make sure that's on the desktop and click OK. So we're now prompted to add the file to the workspace. I'm going to select yes. And you'll notice now on the left-hand side, we have the data files. They include the bicep curl and the MBC. And I'm going to kind of leave it there for this video and include a separate video on how to go through the analysis options. So thanks for watching.